These chairs. Gosh.
They are next level, man.
They're like, I understand they bought them because they look kind of techie and cool. But they're really cheap and squeaky.
They just like to make some noise.
There we go.
Does that feel better?
Yeah, this one's not squeaky.
All right,
So
welcome. Welcome to the Ancient Way. I'm Marlia.
I'm James.
We're going to get into some fun stuff today.
Oh, yeah. We jump right in there.
Yeah.
We haven't planned anything, which is good.
Yeah. Well, I was praying about it on the way over here.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to go into some of the stuff that you and I had just talked about earlier this week.
Oh, yeah. That
like
makes sense.
On Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Just some of our own stuff and what we've seen and experienced.
Good.
And
is that going to be the core of this one?
I would like that to be.
I think so. That's good.
Because there was just so much there.
Yeah.
So I'll start with, actually you should start with the word that you had. Because I feel like it almost is the setup.
Okay.
For where my word went. You know, it was almost like that's the precursor.
Yeah.
To what I talked about.
Let me recall it.
I can recall it for you.
No, I got it. I just had to think about it.
Because it like resonated with me for so long.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel this way. I've been feeling this. And I think it's kind of been a topic, the no compromise thing.
Yeah.
As of late. But I had this sort of vision of us as a collective and even individually, like our belief is being tested or things are confronting it. And it feels like we're at this threshold of almost like a cap. It's like we believe all these things, but now it's to the point where it's like crossing the line into something new.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you believe? Like Daniel's message, you know? It's like, do you fully believe this? And I think this is the key to unlocking the next level and even seeing things. It's like a big graduation.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this vision of, it's like we were standing in this building and we were presented with this, there was this man and he was wearing like bright clothes. And he just looked like this kind of calm, sweet old man. And he had this like contract and he had it held out to us and was like trying to get us to compromise with our belief. He was like, you've done good. You've believed all these things. You're still going to walk in this great power. You're still going to see heaven come to earth. But that's good enough. It's almost like sign this and let's just agree to, we'll just stop it right here and you're still going to experience great things.
Yeah.
And it kind of came in this form of like a peaceful truce or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, hell no, this is demonic.
Mm-hmm.
This is compromise, and it's a soft attempt to control and to,
Yeah, it's like
to agree to shut down.
Yeah.
Or to agree to stop, But on the flip side of that, if we don't sign that compromise contract, I feel like it's going to result in seeing things that nobody's seen before and stepping into the next level of things and even shattering our grids, the things that we've grew up into, the worldly grids of things, even like the simple grid of like, the work week, like Monday through Friday. You know how that's kind of ingrained in your mind? Do you have like a mental feeling or picture of like certain days of the week? I do.
I don't.
Okay.
I'll say this, owning my own business freed me of that.
Yeah.
Because to me, like everything is fluid.
Yeah.
Like there is no, because I feel in charge of my time.
Right.
Like I think that's where that trap can be is
Definitely.
like, am I controlled by somebody else's time?
Yeah.
Or am I free
Yeah.
in my own time?
Yeah. And that's built, in school.
Totally.
Moment up.
Yeah.
But even grids like that, the freedom, it feels like a freedom from even those things as well. But that was mine.
Yeah. When you shared that, it made me think of Matthew 4 and when Satan was tempting Jesus. It was the last test.
Yeah.
Satan basically was like, hey, all these things I will give you if you fall down and worship me. And it's like, hey, you will have all these things.
Yeah.
Just make a small compromise with me. Just make a small agreement with me and you can have everything you want.
Yeah.
And Jesus said, like, away with you. For it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. And it's like, it's putting the Lord in perspective and into those places, like inviting him in.
Yeah.
Into those spaces of like, hey, I'm not going to compromise. And I'll be honest, I've seen this thing, the agreement that you've talked about, I've seen it slide into my life in the smallest minute ways. Like, hey, that thing kind of caused you anxiety. Why don't you just sit with that for a minute? Why don't you hold on to that anxiety? Why don't you hold on to that offense? Because somebody did something to you and you'll be justified in it.
Right.
Hold on to it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I felt the Lord so strong. Just bless them. Like, don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't even like let it simmer and quote unquote process.
Yeah.
Like, choose the opposite.
Right.
And it's been the smallest things that you're like, God, that's not even that big of a deal. But I feel that. I feel like it's the smallest things that he's coming after.
Yeah.
Of like,
yeah, don't give it a chance to nest there.
Yep.
Because it may seem like it's okay to like even consider it. Like maybe it is this way.
Yeah. Or like that this person had ill intentions, like, oh, those people are really just trying to control me.
Yeah.
And then I feel justified in being able to label the fact that they're trying to control me.
Yeah.
When the Lord was like, don't even, like, that's not even for you.
Right.
That's not even your deal to judge. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
Yeah.
You choose to bless them.
Right.
Basically, like, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
But I felt like that went right along with the word that I had.
Yeah.
That the Lord said, effort does not produce flight. Tucking in does. And I was seeing everybody like on an airplane where they were trying to run with their feet.
Yeah.
Like the Flintstones, like really trying to pedal to get this airplane to take off.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until people decided to pull their legs up and tuck in, like a little kid tuck in, that the flight took off. And I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Of like, do not do anything in your own strength. Do not make a small agreement with the enemy.
Yeah.
Tuck in.
Yeah.
Like, because what does a parent do when they tuck in a kid at night? Right? They're trying to make them safe.
Yeah.
It's so that they feel secure so they can rest.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the things that the Lord is really wanting to impart to us is like, hey, you're safe.
Right.
And you can rest. You can rest in my safety.
Yeah.
If you don't feel safe and you don't feel secure in something, you're going to make an agreement with the enemy.
Yeah.
Because you don't trust that he's good to have your back.
Yeah.
Or that he's going to provide the finances that you've been wanting or needing. You will make small agreements in little places that honestly just end up producing no fruit.
Yeah.
Or worse than that, crappy fruit.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I feel like producing no fruit is even better than crappy fruit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that makes me think of too, like lifting your legs up, like we're obviously relinquishing control of the situation or even how you think it's going to go.
Yeah.
And it feels like uncharted territory. Yeah. That's kind of mine that I've been dealing with personally is the cap of things are good. You pray for people. You see little healings here and there. You see like headaches go away and stuff like that. You have dreams, you're functioning and paying attention to those things. The people you encounter are changing. And it's like, that's going to continue to happen. And the thing for me is like that all that stuff is just going to continue to happen. It's going to be cool. and it may build up a little bit, life's going to be great.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, I think there is supposed to be much more than that.
It's like, are you willing to just settle with all the good that's in your life and not expect great things?
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been thinking of.
I think even that constricts you.
It does.
It's like, I think that's where people taper off.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're like, man, this is good.
Yeah. And
what I have is good.
Yeah. And it is secure in the Lord. And it's like, good. But I think there's a lot more to go for us to walk into, to step into. I think it's infinite.
I think that's why too, like, just keeping going back of like, you don't do anything in your own strength, because what is good, even if it's maintained in your own strength, can never be great.
Right.
Like, you have to, even in like the small good things, stay on course.
Yeah.
And keep expecting, like have greater expectation. I think that we can even get to like, man, that was really good. I gave a word and it brought deliverance, or, I had a word of knowledge and that was good. And it's just like, okay, good. Like next Sunday, like we keep it on repeat. We keep it like we're running on a treadmill.
Right.
So we're keeping a good pace because the treadmill's doing the work.
Yeah.
But we're not growing. Like like there's no depth that's being developed, And I think that looks like taking risk, taking risk in the spirit.
Yeah. And there's this, like the airplane thing, there's this abandon of the world. And then there's this abandoning yourself to the Lord and what he has.
Yeah.
And it feels like this butterflies in your stomach. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm trusting him. Yeah. And it's almost like you can feel like machinations of like what it will be like. I don't know, to step into more, but it's an abandon. It's a surrender, which we always talk about.
Yeah.
But it feels like an abandon, like cutting that string. Like you're a balloon and cutting the string, or like the airplane, lifting your legs up and just letting it take you. Yeah. It's exciting though.
It really is. It makes me think, okay, I was kind of just befuddling around in my mind, but what would it look like in your day-to-day if Jesus' physical person was walking with you? Yeah. What level of expectation would you have when you encounter things? Yeah. When you're working on your business and trying to promote your business, if you're a business owner, what does that look like? What does that look like if his physical person is there every day giving you intel of what you need to do? Yeah. And knowing that it's going to pay off later. Yeah. Like if he's like, hey, I don't want you to do anything today. It's very contrary to what the world would say. And I know people are like, well, there's a lot of practical things that you got to do, but what if we actually did live on every word that came out of the mouth of God? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think things would like radically transform. Yeah.
They would. It's like you can stake your life on it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one though. I think we covered this before. What would Jesus do? Yeah. As cheesy as that's turned into, it's like imagine him with you. And then it's like, well, he's actually with you. Yeah. He's actually there like that the whole time.
So like I had this experience the other day where with our business that's opening, I felt so much pressure of the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like the time is running out. We don't have very much time left. Things are like, we just have a lot to do in a very, very little amount of time. And it was so flippin' sweet. I was sitting with the Lord in it because it was weighing on me. So I was like, nope, I'm going to step into this. And I invited the Lord in and I like acknowledged, okay, we'll just pretend, because I'll pretend that y'all were there with me so you can hear what, but I literally was driving in my car and I took a big breath and I was just like, dang, like Dad, I don't want to keep carrying this. Like this thing is heavy for me. And I see the pressure of time, but I also know that that's not my reality and that's not under you. So what does this actually look like? And when I said, what does this actually look like? It was like an echo chamber that came into my car. And I heard the echo of eternity. Yeah. It was just like, and he said, there's no time in my kingdom. Yeah. And what would take me a day, you're feeling like it'll take 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it just struck me like when you align and stay with eternity, the timelines that you think are there don't matter.
Right.
Because it doesn't take the Lord but a breath.
Yeah.
And even to do a crap ton of practical things.
Yeah. Right.
Which is get a gazillion inspections from the city.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but it's like he's very strategic and stuff.
Yeah.
And when you surrender to his timeline, which is outside of time and space,
yeah,
everything in this reality lines up to that.
Yeah.
And it actually surrenders to that.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when I stepped into what felt like the echo chamber of eternity, I felt so weightless.
Yeah.
I felt so weightless. My mind was open. And I was like, how could I ever worry about a thing?
Yeah.
When I got into that, I was like, I should never worry about anything.
Yeah.
Like, how silly can you be?
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah. You can fully surrender the burden of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're not bound to it.
No.
Yeah.
Trust him to handle everything. So don't worry about it.
But when he said, what takes you 1,000 years, it would only take me a day.
Yeah.
It's like, that's that. Are you going to trust in your own strength?
Yeah.
Or are you going to actually surrender?
Yeah.
Because it's much more fruitful when you surrender into that.
Uh-huh.
And there's more fruit that's actually born. You know, we can only bear so much fruit.
Yeah.
It's that Jeremiah 17. It says, cursed is the man who trusts in man and makes flesh his strength.
Yeah.
Whose heart departs from the Lord, for he shall be like a shrub in the desert, and shall not see when good comes.
Mm-hmm.
That's brilliant to me.
Yeah.
But blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord and whose hope is in the Lord, for he shall be like a tree planted by waters.
Yeah.
It's like by definition, do you want to be a shrub or a tree? Like,
yeah. Well, the fact that trusting in your own flesh is a curse, like think about that for a second.
No doubt.
It's like you're cursed if you're doing that.
Literally.
Yeah.
And what comes with the curse?
Yeah.
Death.
Right. Yeah. That's sketchy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that death is... What if the only people that die are those that have trusted in their own strength?
Seems that way.
It's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
It just struck me.
Well, I mean, even the stress of that, if you want to get logical about it, think about all that pressure.
Yeah.
Of you building your own kingdom. And we cover this too, but like, think of the stress of that.
You know, they have not found why people age. Like
really?
Scientifically, they have no idea why people age. The only thing that they've come up with is high levels of cortisol in people's bodies, which is stress. It's the stress hormone. Stress is what actually induces aging.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Stress is kind of a curse.
Science seems to point to a lot of even what the Lord says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just kind of defining it.
Like if you age and your organs start to fail and die because of high levels of cortisol, it's because your body can't process it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
You know, most causes... have I told you this? I'm going to go on a small rabbit trail.
Okay.
It's because I just love information, I think. One, so your high levels of cortisol that pump through your body. Cortisol is like your fight or flight response. It is anxiety. It's cortisol. It's the hormone cortisol that's running through your body.
Okay.
You basically are getting high levels of... It's like dumping into your system.
Yeah.
So if you have high levels of cortisol moving through your body, they all have to be filtered through your adrenal glands, which sit on top of your kidneys. It's a part of your elimination system.
Okay.
Well, your adrenals are so small that they actually can't process very much cortisol because we were not designed to have a lot of cortisol the way that our world has, that we live in now.
Right.
Well, when your adrenal glands shut down, then your thyroid starts to shut down because when your adrenals can't process any more cortisol, the cortisol is then pulling from your thyroid.
Okay.
Your thyroid is one of the biggest endocrine and hormone responses in your body.
Yeah.
If you look, more women have thyroid issues than almost any other disease. it's because the cortisol, they have not learned, and I think this is due to like parenting in women, because our biology changes after having children.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies no longer can absorb all of the stress.
Okay.
Because we do not actually process stress.
Yeah.
So that is one of them, which I find to be fascinating. But two, they have found that every disease is correlated to an emotion.
Okay. That makes sense.
So every disease that your body may be holding on to is directly related to an unprocessed emotion.
Yeah.
So if you're having any kind of actual illnesses, it's probably more emotional.
It's the root of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But most of it all goes back to high levels of cortisol in your body.
Okay, yeah.
Which, just tying that in, the science aspect is like, cursed is the man who trusts in man. Like, so by that I mean, like, if you are only dealing with your own levels of stress and you're trying to manage your stress instead of surrendering it to the Lord, your body's going to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Your body's not going to release it.
Yeah.
The way that you like actually release it and release it to the Lord, it actually comes out of your body. Physically, it does.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
That's why when you cry, you're actually releasing cortisol.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I've always heard, like, you know, people go to the doctor and it's like, well, you have this problem. It's like, you have a chemical imbalance. And that's as far as it goes. So you need to take this medication to balance that out. And I've always been like, well, what's the core of it? It's emotional. Spiritual is the core of everything, really. And it's like, it's Band-Aids.
Yeah.
I guess medication is Band-Aids. It keeps you, you know, the whole circle.
Okay, are you ready for this story?
Yep.
I wasn't planning on going into all this, but okay, so a part of this, you can look it up. It's called the emotion code, but there's a sheet that they have found. It is written out like your organs hold certain emotions, which I think it's, honestly, if we're going to be honest, I think it's how the Lord does. I think that's how the Lord designed things, because our bodies are flippin' brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, one of the things about this chart and about our subconscious mind is that if you look at something, your subconscious mind remembers it, even though your conscious mind will not.
Okay.
Our subconscious mind is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's actually, you can catch a lot of vision from there.
Mm-hmm.
So the deal about this emotion code is that you can look at the sheet of paper and then put it away, right? Well, then your body will either lock on something or it releases. So if you ask it a question, your bodies are so good at telling.
Yeah.
Your body will tell you actually if you're holding on to an emotion or holding on to trauma or holding on to something. So I won't go into the whole thing, but it will tighten up instinctively or it releases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I asked, I was training one of my clients and I was talking to them because her 10-year-old son has had a wicked cough that he hasn't been able to get rid of for months. They've tried steroids, they've tried antibiotics, they've tried, and they're like, oh, he's just holding on to fluid. And they were like, oh, we don't know. And I was like, dude, that's a wicked cough you have. So I was telling this girl about the emotion code, and this is not to try and promote my business, but this is one of the aspects of our business that we're going to kind of bring in. And it's not witchy like some people think. It's actually fully backed by science. There's been so many research papers done on it.
Yeah.
It's just because it doesn't make money. It's free to ask your body what's happening with it.
Yeah.
You know? But that's another story for another day.
What is the muscle testing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to work in a health food store. Well, I think I've told you.
Yeah. It is muscle testing.
Yeah.
But so I had him look at this emotion code, just glance at it, and then I put it away. And so I would ask his body with the muscle testing. I was like, is it number 1? Is it column 1?
Yeah.
Is it column 2? Is it column 3? Is it column 4? Is it column 5? Is it column 6?
Yeah.
it locked on column 3.
Uh-huh.
He did not know. He
Yeah.
wasn't reading this thing.
Yeah.
Column 3 was lungs.
Interesting. Yeah.
And it locked on his body.
Yeah.
They are, mind you, these people are not part of this. They are like Western medicine, like through and through.
Yeah.
If we sneeze, we go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So then I asked his body, I was like, hey, what did I say? I was like, oh, is it column A or column B? And it like locked on column A. And so then I asked his body, I was like, hey, is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? And then I would ask, and it locked on 2.
Yeah.
And I looked down, and the 2 that it locked on was rejection and stubbornness.
Huh.
But I never said those words to him.
Yeah, you just went through the list.
I just went through the list, and I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so then I asked him, I said, hey, as a 10-year-old boy, I said, hey, do you feel rejected?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel rejected by one of your parents?
Yeah.
And he started crying. And he was like, I feel like my dad doesn't like me.
Damn.
And he actually started right there crying. And the other one was stubbornness.
Yeah.
And his mom and him, while we were working out, had a full-blown fight because she was asking him to do something and he wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, you're so fucking stubborn.
Yeah.
And so I got to actually talk to him about releasing his emotions.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, sometimes when we hold on to things, it can cause a disease to show up in our body. And I think that's what's going on with your lungs. And I said, one of the best ways to release that is to forgive. Forgive the parent that you really feel rejected by.
Yeah.
And the other thing is you should talk to him and you should actually get that out and be transparent with him that how he thinks he's disciplining you.
Yeah. But
really he's rejecting you and it's hurting your feelings. And so you should communicate that. It's like something shifted on them. And I'm just telling that story because I feel like so often the physical, emotional, and spiritual are so intertwined.
Yeah.
And sometimes disease will manifest by unprocessed trauma.
Yeah.
But it's not our job to force that thing. It's our job to join the Lord in that.
Yeah.
So like when that thing is presented, like it was for that little boy, it's inviting the Lord into that. Like, oh, I didn't realize I was feeling rejected.
Yeah.
My body was manifesting that I felt rejected.
Right.
But I didn't know that.
Huh.
And so
that's fascinating.
He actually got to release. It was cool, dude.
Well, that's what it is, though. I mean, that's what, and what you said earlier, it's like there are 2 functions.
Yeah.
Either to hold on to things, pull things in, or release.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Like the forgiveness aspect of it, or him holding on to those things and not being able to share it.
Mm-hmm. It literally caused something to show up in his lungs.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. But the root of it being
rejection.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating.
You know, I was I do a lot of scientific research just because I find it to be
fascinating.
Oh my gosh, dude. But most cultures for thousands and thousands and thousands of years have understood this principle. They've understood that emotions are tied to disease, to manifestations. But we lost it. We lost it with Western medicine coming in.
Yeah, which is new if you think about it, compared to the lifespan of everything.
The early 1900s.
Yeah.
So it's like less than 120 years old. And so for me, I'm over here like, yo, if it was working for other people for thousands and thousands of years,
right,
and they lived a lot longer than we did, we should probably also hold space for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not witchy.
No, it's not.
Like, I think to say that it is to deny the brilliance that God created our bodies. Yeah. Because there's so much more going down. Right. That's like, these creationists that say that the earth was made in 7 days. Like, what? Yeah. Like, what? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
I know it.
Anyways.
That's offensive.
Sorry. I'm offended.
Offended. Yeah.
But it's sweet how much, even in our emotions, we can join to the Lord on. Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking about too, that kind of goes in the same vein. And I think it goes along with what you were saying in taking flight and all these things.
Yeah.
Is that you have to look at your life and say, I'm ready for my life to be 100% different.
Yeah.
Because I think when you graduate, when you move into something else, you have to be willing to let go of things to make your life look different.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because I was talking to somebody the other day about working out and eating clean, right? They're like asking me a bunch of diet questions. And I think that's the number one question that we should always ask is, are we willing to let go of everything in our life right now?
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you're probably not ready to start dieting, quote unquote. Those are big quotation marks because I think that's a load of crap.
Right.
But I mean like eating clean.
Yeah.
Because you have to let go of habits.
Yeah.
You have to let go of old ways of doing things.
Yeah.
If you want to be healthy.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same thing with the Lord. Like you have to look at that.
Right. Yeah.
Are you
it does
willing
come down to what do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you willing for your life to look different? Because think, okay, let's go grandiose scale.
Yeah.
Right? Say somebody who's been rolling around in a wheelchair that's well known in your town. You take a step in faith. You actually pull him out of his wheelchair and he begins walking. Your entire life will be different from that exact moment.
Oh, yeah.
You will be put on a spectacle not only in the town, but in the spirit realm.
Yeah.
You're marked.
Right.
And so your life will not look the same.
Yeah.
It won't, like, at all. So it's like if you really desire change and desire the greater things and desire all of these, I think, manifestations.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to let go.
Right.
Like nothing in your life you can hold on to, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That goes back to the sickness thing, either releasing or you're holding in things too. Yeah, it's cool.
But that's like the treaty.
Yeah.
Or the truce with the enemy.
Yeah.
Is that you can't, I mean, I guess you can. You can do whatever the flip you want. But
well, it was almost like it was a legit thing. So you can sign this and still walk in all these cool things.
Yeah.
It's just like we're going to agree not to cross this line right here.
But you won't have the abundance.
Right.
You won't have the grandiose
You
things.
won't have the fullness. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that looks like grandiose stuff.
Yeah, no.
To be honest.
Yeah,
I think that looks like dead people getting up out of them graves.
Yeah. And even more so. Just entire transformation of everything.
You have to be willing to let go of everything that looks like your life right now.
Yeah. That's true. That's what yeah, it's true. And your foundations. If it's not the Lord.
Here's the deal,
that's
though.
That's a tough one.
Even
people.
if it is, you can actually surrender that to the Lord.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
Because anything that's actually Him stands, period.
Yeah. Yeah. It won't. Yeah, it's immovable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think even like why people don't want to shift their life is because there's a fear attached.
Yeah.
Like, I think all things are actually rooted in fear. It's either it's fear or love, your foundations. And they're just afraid. They're afraid of what their life would look like. They're afraid that they won't, basically like it won't work out. Yeah. You know, like if I hope this thing, it's not really going to work out anyways. Yeah. So that's like when we were watching Spider-Man. Yeah. You know, what'd she say? What was the big quote that kept coming around?
Great power.
No, the one about disappointment.
Oh, yeah. If you expect disappointment, it's not as bad or something.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like if you expect disappointment, you're going to get disappointment.
Yeah.
Or it won't be as bad when you get it.
It doesn't bother you that much when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's crap.
It's total crap.
It's like, I couldn't believe how many times they put that in the movie too.
I know it.
It's like, geez Louise, dude. Talk about a pessimist.
Yeah. That's kind of, yeah.
But what you expect is what you get, really.
Yeah.
And that's not like.
Yeah, it goes back to hope. Hope laying the groundwork for whatever's to come, you know?
Yeah. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose hope is the Lord. Yeah. You hope him. You hope him to come through.
Right.
It's his person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah. think it's cool what you are doing with Native. It's a little sidetrack, but I was just thinking about it. I think it's cool. I think you just don't want to kink in the plans in the system. I'm not being rebellious, but it's like you're offering what, like you said, what once was something wholesome that healed people, bringing that back around.
We were having a meeting the other day about kind of our core values, like us branding ourselves. Like, what does that look like for our business? And I said, if I was completely honest, I want to be the bridge from Western medicine to Eastern medicine. I want to be the place that is completely backed by science.
Yeah.
Because this is not a woo-woo, new age,
right?
Whatever you want to call it, because that's what people get so weird about that crap.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not any of that. It's actually all backed. But it does take the Eastern medicine.
Yeah.
It takes the spiritual aspect, the spirituality, the emotions.
Yeah.
And it integrates it into
it's
health.
all rooted in that stuff. Yeah.
It is.
You're kind of, what you're doing is cutting out the middleman who wants your money in your life.
Yeah. Who doesn't actually want to fix you.
Right. Yeah.
They want to give you a bunch of crap and let you have supplements for the rest of your life. And by the way, you're still going to age and you're still going to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds horrible.
I think it's cool we are doing. I think it's heroic.
Thanks.
It's cool.
Thanks. It's a lot, but it's fun.
Yeah. It's good. I don't know what half of it is.
I know. That's what I like about it.
That's what's fun about it too. Yeah.
That's what I like about it is like the Rife machine.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what is that?
I have no clue.
Yeah. It's a frequency. Well, okay. I'm going to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see if, actually, I'm not going to speak that out. There's so many studies that prove that this thing has healed cancer.
Oh, cool.
Like thousands of studies that this machine heals cancer.
Yeah.
And he invented it. His name is Royal Rife. He invented it back in 1920. And the medical association said that it was not trustworthy.
Oh.
Because they couldn't put money on it.
Yeah. When if it cures cancer, someone's out of business.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So they pulled it and basically stopped backing it because they realized that it worked so well.
Oh, yeah. Well.
But cancer was the big one that they had seen drastic improvements, which I'll explain actually what it does in a second. But Lyme disease, lupus, type 1 diabetes, tons of what they claim as incurable diseases, this machine has cured.
That's cool. See, if I had cancer and I knew about this, I'd be like, oh, let me try that first.
No doubt, dude.
That's cool.
No doubt. But the whole thing that we're setting up is like getting to the emotion. Like, why did cancer even come into your body to begin with?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because all that is here. Okay, I've got to bust this because this bugs me, dude.
Okay.
So cancer is only a clump of cells that have gathered together that have no oxygen to them.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Oh.
And based on, again, because every organ carries an emotion. Any emotion that you're not willing to deal with, there is no oxygen in that cell. If that freaking thing isn't prophetic, I don't know what is.
Yeah. That's cool.
There's no oxygen. There's no breath.
Yeah.
Because Yahweh's name is actually breath sounds.
He is, the breath of life. Yeah.
Literally in and out. And it's a place.
I've been seeing that lately. That's cool.
I'm just saying, like, to me, you can say, I may over-spiritualize the crap out of stuff, but it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
But the Rife machine itself, it's a frequency. It's a bioscanner, biohacker. So it will read your body because your body carries a frequency. Okay, everybody's body does. Yeah. Everything in the earth carries a frequency. When you are healthy and when you are whole, you vibrate at the same frequency as the earth.
Cool.
Okay, it actually emits the color green. That's why the grass is green. That's the frequency that it releases. You can literally Google the color of sound. Yeah. You can go look at it.
That's cool.
So, time out. The way that I first heard about this, because I did not know this, the Lord told me in 2014, I was praying for Hoff one night and he said, play the color red. And I was like, what the crap?
What does that mean?
I was like, I don't know. So I Googled it because I didn't know. Lo and behold, it was the color red matches the key of C. And all of our songs were in the key of C that night.
Oh, cool.
And I did not arrange that.
Yeah.
And so I started getting into frequencies and the frequencies that hold the colors and the meaning of color and how actually color affects your mood.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can go look, I mean, all mainstream business stuff is like, make sure that your color palette matches your business because it produces a certain emotional response.
Yeah, that's what people, I always heard like wear red because it makes you happy or something.
Yeah. I mean, it asserts your power. It asserts your power. It asserts your whatever. But it's true.
Yeah.
So colors hold emotions. Even colors like, if you were to play a sound, you can see the frequency. It has a color to it. So anyways, this frequency, this biohacker, this Rife machine can scan your body and find what's out of balance.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
It will basically read where are you most inflamed,
Yeah.
meaning where are you off your true north.
Uh-huh.
And it will highlight those organs.
Yeah.
So then it sends frequency to that organ to bring out
that's cool.
the clog in it. That's a very, very simple way of explaining it.
If I just show up and like I have this ache in my shoulder, or like if I have like, I don't know, headaches or something every Tuesday, I can just show up and be like, hey, I've got these headaches, put me in this machine. Yep. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to meet with me for like 15 minutes and we're going to talk about it before I put you on the machine.
For sure.
But yes.
That's cool.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
I love that.
And it's going to scan your body and it's going to tell you like, is the headache actually originating from your head or is it originating from your rhomboids? Is it originating from your lower back? Is it originating from your heart?
Right. Huh.
Like it basically is going to give you the pinpoint.
That's cool.
And then there's a certain code and then you can program it to then come back and you can do it repeat. So you can do it every single day until you release all of the symptoms.
That's cool.
So it's not ever just a one-time deal, but
that's just cool.
You just keep repeating it until symptoms completely alleviate. Yeah. And then if you come back and you're like, hey, these things are still coming around, then we go in emotional. Then we dive into the emotion. Okay, well, what emotion are you holding?
Cool.
And we kind of break that apart.
Yeah.
So that's part of like the wellness protocol that we're going to offer.
Healing and wellness. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the flipping goal, to actually make people healthy.
I have something y'all probably haven't thought of. Just trying to one up you here.
Well, I'm sorry we just
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I've got one thing that I bet y'all haven't talked about.
I just feel bad that I just now spent like 10 minutes talking about my business.
It was interesting. I'm glad you did. And I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, I kind of want to talk about people's businesses on here sometimes.
Oh, I like it.
Support.
It's true.
Are you ready?
Let's do it, James.
Y'all need a Chihuahua.
Oh my God. Listen, I heard that Chihuahuas, have we talked about that?
Yeah.
How it takes asthma?
Yeah. Well, I just thought of that. We talked about it on our last episode.
Yeah. Well, Duke gives asthma, so.
That's funny. But I was like, well, that's kind of an old, ancient form of healing. You just have a little Chihuahua farm.
Yeah.
We'll
just start handing out Chihuahuas.
For asthma patients.
God bless.
Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
Man, dude, Zach would actually have a full-blown heart attack
if
we had to get another dog.
Really?
We were talking about it last night. So we left Duke outside when y'all came over.
Okay.
Forgot about him. We have this dog who is like, I don't know, 12 pounds, 11 pounds. He's little. He's a little rat terrier. He's a Yorkie and a Maltese mix. But he's the most obnoxious dog. And he has to have attention.
Yeah.
And he was mine before I got married, and then I got married. And then we had Bexley, and Bexley and Duke stay in like two different areas of the house at all times. They do not interact.
That's funny.
She actually hit him with a lightsaber the other day.
Yeah.
She like went after him. He cried.
Oh, wow.
It was a whole thing. But we were talking about it last night. We were like, listen,
Yeah. There are a lot of feelings and conversations and stuff towards Duke.
Oh.
From various people.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of has their own.
Everybody hates him.
Yeah.
But I told Zach, I was like, listen, how am I going to be responsible for a planet when I die if I can't even be gentle to the most obnoxious dog on the planet? And that's just one dog. And he was like, nobody else will be Duke. He was basically like, Duke was the lowest of the low.
Oh, it's funny.
Oh, man. Because I forgot about him. And so then he cried all night long. And he's like, he has to stay in the kitchen on a leash.
Okay.
Because that's Zach's punishment for him all the time. Just at night, I should say that.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyways, it's bad. Maybe you should get a Chihuahua.
If I have asthma, I will. I had a Chihuahua. My first pet was a Chihuahua. Did I tell you that?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she got hit by a car. I had her for, I don't even remember how long. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Okay. I'll tell this little story.
That's so sad.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. Jake was like 1 or 2. So I don't know how old I am. I was a little bit older. Anyways, I was at my grandparents' house and we were watching probably Indiana Jones when people's faces melting off or something. And my grandma gets a phone call from my mom, and mom's like crying and stuff. My grandma can't hear what she's saying. And I'm sitting there listening like, uh-oh, something happened. And she hangs up and I'm like, what happened? And she says, I don't know what she was saying, but I think Jake has got bit by some ants or something. And I was like, oh, it's not that bad. She was like, we got to go check on him. I was like, oh, okay. And we get there. That's not what mom said. And when we pull up, my Chihuahua's in the road, smushed, like your tongue hanging out. And I was like, it got me. Of course, I started crying.
How traumatic.
Yeah, I'm like expecting Jake to have ant bites, Anyways.
No, a car ran over.
Yeah.
Aww.
So if and she was mean though. She was mean. Chihuahuas are pretty obnoxious.
Well, it's the, I don't know if it's like a small dog syndrome or what.
It could be.
But Duke bites Bexley a lot. It's obnoxious, dude.
Yeah. Just I had a little one snap at my legs when I was running one day.
Mm.
And they just get it right up on you.
Yeah.
And they get real close to you and they're just.
Yeah, you really just want to kick the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I almost kicked this one, then I outran it.
Oh, that's nice.
Because they'll only go so far because they want to stay close to their house, their owner. Yeah. If their owner's not out there, I will kick a dog if it starts being obnoxious. I don't want to, but I will.
Where is the line of that?
Yeah. I will until, I'll forgive it, but I'll kick it.
Is that what it means to subdue the earth?
Yeah.
Kill off everything that's not under the alignment. I'm just kidding.
Fallen animals.
It's funny.
So even the wellness thing, throwing a kink into the system. I've always been a metalhead.
Mm.
I've really been on a heavy metal kick lately. And even kind of researching the origins of it.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty fascinated with it. And there's the original heavy metal people, Ozzy Osbourne, Motorhead, the classics. Some of it's demonic. But the thing is, and you look at the artwork.
I lost respect when he
bit the bat's head off. Yeah. And I don't know all the details of that, but you look at all of their, whatever. It's not all that great. And all their symbolism is satanic and all these things. But a lot of their role models was like Little Richard, Elvis. That was they loved them.
Really?
Uh-huh. And that's what they were trying to be and do. And of course, nowadays you have people who, like horror movies, you try to shock people for the sake of shocking people.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about that. And it's cheap. But the real stuff that actually sounds good and is actually, they're highly talented musicians. Even like the symbolism and stuff. A lot of them from what I'm seeing, like they're solid people and they do that to kind of spit in the face of control and religion.
Yeah.
It's a little rebellious, but it's also like them stepping into a new art form or something.
Yeah.
Amidst the control and the fear and the backlash.
Hmm.
And the fact that it riles up all the religious people, I think that's why they take those things. It's not that they believe in them, and it's not that they worship the devil.
Yeah.
It's that they're breaking the control aspect of it. And there's a freedom to it. At the core of it, once you get past the demonic symbolism and the drugs and the sex and all that stuff, there's like this freedom aspect of it as to that's what they're seeking, even in the fallen ways, and maybe they don't even know it, but it's like there's this really beautiful freedom to it and creativity at its like fullest potential.
Yeah.
But
that makes me think just in general, like what you're saying about throwing a kink and stuff is like, why not see things as freedom in its fullest potential?
Yeah.
Like in anything that we claim that we're trying to avoid or whatever, like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think there's something to that of like looking a little bit more.
Yeah.
Look a little bit beyond.
Yeah. Well, just look at the core of it, and it kind of goes back to the why question. It's like, well, why? Why? To really dissect and open up about what's even the spiritual root of it.
Yeah. Well, it made me think about, do you want to go political again?
Oh yeah, always. I love politics.
No, it reminds me of the dream that I had about Joe Biden. And there was a black man in the Oval Office. Mm-hmm. I was an observer in the dream. Uh-huh. So I knew it wasn't about me, and this, I did dog on a lot of people, so I guess I should, apologize for that, who have these dreams. But I did make a YouTube video about it, so I feel better.
Oh yeah,
but
as long as you didn't do that.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I had a dream about Joe Biden, and there was a black man in the Oval Office who was standing behind him. And I was talking to the black man or observing the black man, and the black man was telling a group of people, this is going to be really good. This is going to be really good for America. Huh. And it had this sense of like, oh, the Lord is orchestrating this thing.
Yeah.
You can put whatever ridiculous spin on things you want.
Yeah.
But in the context of what you were saying, like looking at past everything and saying like, what is actually trying to facilitate freedom here? It seems like the Lord is working that out.
Yeah.
And even with our nation, like, it seems that God really just cares about us being fully free.
Yeah.
And will use anything possible to get us free.
Yeah.
That's what it made me think of.
Absolutely.
So, like, you can hate on Joe Biden and, the gas is $639 a gallon.
Yeah.
Or you could look at it as, something is happening.
Yeah.
Something is happening in our world.
Yeah.
That the Lord is wanting to facilitate freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, really. That's it.
But.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, I don't.
You were going into something else until I took it.
I was just talking about the heavy metal thing. But that's what that was too. Everybody thought that was demonic, and it opened up a level of freedom for music.
Yeah.
Even branched off and inspired all these other different sorts of genres of music, And it sounds so damn cool. It's like transcendent, some of it. I don't know. It's beautiful. I love it. It's like, it's art.
I've gotten it. Golly, dude, this mic is killing me today.
Yeah.
I keep touching it. I probably should stop. But, I've started listening to some with Zach because that's like what he listens to. That's like his, especially during his workouts.
Yeah. I've been running on the treadmill with it.
Yeah.
And it has to have this like,
there's a specific
to sound
tone.
Good. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, but I could run. I like sweat everywhere, all over the treadmill. It's messy, but it's transcendent, and it's just, I don't know.
Maybe it's raising your cortisol levels.
It is doing something. I don't know. It's,
I'm just kidding.
We should incorporate it into worship, is all I'm saying.
Dude, if we did that, Zach, that's what they play before pretty much every service.
Yeah.
Him and Alan, they just go like...
And it coming from them, too.
I know.
The purity of that.
The two of them together, it's insane to me. Like the way that Zach plays drums with the way that Alan plays guitar, they complement each other so well.
I've heard pieces of things when I walk in early, I've heard little things before.
We always joke, we're like, dude, people should just come to before church because for whatever reason, it gets weird when service starts. And it's never bad.
Right, yeah.
It's never bad. It's just, it's not on the same level. It's like, it's freaking mind-blowing.
Yeah. Can we one day get them together and say, y'all, like...
Just go at it?
Go at it.
Yeah. We try. We jam a lot, but...
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Another thing is made me think of Stranger Things. You finished it, right?
Nope, not yet. You can say it, though.
Yeah, I can. I think it's only... You've
it's okay.
Understood the gist of this, but the guy with the long hair that leads the Dungeons and Dragons group.
Yeah, that guy.
Eddie. And is it the Hellfire?
Is it Eddie?
Yeah, I think it's Eddie.
Okay.
What is their group called? The Hell something? Hellfire something. And he's actually a good guy.
It's the Hellfire Club, I think.
That's it. Well, then, the basketball dude, they demonize him. They're like, this is a satanic cult thing, and they're actually good people.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another thing. It's kind of interesting. And like just some of the stuff he does in the show proves how good his heart is, and he's just a normal dude. It's interesting when stuff gets demonized. But then I think on the backside, people, like I said, the metal stuff, they use that stuff because it offends people.
Oh, yeah.
So they just stir it up a little bit. Except for Ozzy Osbourne, he eats bats' heads off.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure he made a deal with the devil, but...
He may have.
They do too many rituals.
Yeah.
To not. But, I mean, even that, like, could choose to see God in them. Because God also was made in his...
Ozzy Osbourne, yeah, originally. Yeah.
He has the image of God in him somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, time's almost up. That's all good.
What, you got one more thing?
Oh, I really wanted to talk about skinwalkers.
Oh, let's go into it.
Because
Too late now.
We're talking about religious people.
Yeah.
And talking about, how some people just like go on the edge just to be...
For the sake of going on the edge?
Yes.
Yeah.
It made me think about the conversation of us talking about skinwalkers.
Yeah.
So I guess in one of our groups, somebody just brought up the fact like they had actually engaged with a skinwalker.
It was very real. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very real for them, and they had actually come across their path. And anyways, what I think is so funny, and I was just thinking about this. I'm not in any way trying to dog on somebody who is naive to these things.
Yeah, right.
But I giggled because there were so many people at group that were like, skinwalker? What's a skinwalker? I've never heard of a skinwalker.
Uh-huh.
And like, it made me think, you have people that are over the top just for the sake of being over the top.
Yeah, right.
But then you have some people that are just so naive that they don't even venture into anything of the spirit.
Right.
Or venture into anything that feels out there.
Yeah.
Because they're so afraid.
Right.
And then we kind of come off looking kind of like idiots.
Yeah.
And not that maybe that's a bold statement, but
like a couple of nutcases.
Yeah, almost like, wait, you don't know anything about the real world?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I guess either or, yeah.
Yeah, but to me it's like the full extremes.
Yeah.
Right. So just like
okay.
Full rebellion or full naivety.
Naivety, yeah.
But no, those skinwalkers, that's interesting, man.
I know it, yeah. We should have an episode about all these werewolves and skinwalkers and
oh yeah, we should. So I was listening to a guy who was talking about so he was like basically a Navy SEAL of the Navajo tribe, because that's where they say the skinwalkers actually originated from, was the Navajo tribe. Not true. The Navajo tribe basically squatted on their territory.
On the skinwalkers' territory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're now incorporated within their culture.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy was like, no, dude, the skinwalkers have been around much, much longer than even the Navajo tribe.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know that there's a ranch in Utah called the Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah.
Dude, they've had so many sightings out there.
Dang.
So many sightings of Bigfoot.
Really?
Yeah, I guess Bigfoot used to live amongst the Navajo tribe.
Okay. Yeah. The red. Yeah.
With the skinwalkers.
Okay.
There's like a group of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Of demonic beings just
Yeah.
hanging out. But yeah, I guess the Bigfoot came to them. Something happened. This was like a random story, but the Bigfoot was like, basically, hey, if you don't kill me, I'll go north and you'll never see me again.
Interesting.
Yeah, because there was some kind of interaction that happened with the skinwalkers, and so then the Bigfoot left the Navajo tribe.
Oh, he was in their tribe?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just fascinating. The history of that.
Yeah. There's so much that goes down.
Why are we taking a anniversary trip somewhere else and not going up to the Skinwalker Ranch?
Dude, I have no idea.
That'd be a trip.
That would be a trip.
Go there.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like daydreaming about like going there and like what that would look like.
Oh.
I might crap myself.
Not if we all go.
I guess that's true. But I guarantee we would see something.
Go save some people from some skinwalkers, really.
Yeah.
Dang. I heard a story.
Because you know they're so everybody who doesn't know what a skinwalker is, they're shapeshifters.
Yeah.
And they can channel animals.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ugly. It's not pleasant to.
No, but if they haven't taken on the form of another human or an animal, they look like a dog, like a kind of a taller, extended dog.
Yeah.
Who's translucent. But anyways, go.
Yeah, skinwalkers.
You can Google it.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
There was another story I'd heard. It was from I'd have to find it, but it was from like a police officer. He was very trustworthy. You could even hear it in his tone and stuff. And this guy was talking about how he's seen things. He's seen death and all these horrible things, and he's extremely callous to it. But he said the one thing that he saw that like scared the crap out of him, it was a werewolf. Mm-hmm. I think he was fishing or something. He was in a boat and it like started swimming towards him. Yeah, with its like teeth baring.
That's wild.
Yeah. But I think I don't know. It's always interesting to talk about it and stuff. But at the core of it is because I know. I mean, those things been to when Jesus shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cower. We're his kids. So that's why it's really fun to talk about it.
I know.
And it's like the people, whenever someone is scared of something, it's like letting them know, like, no, you have the Spirit of God in you. He's with you and he's in you. You don't have to be afraid of those things.
What I like so much about it, though, there's multiple reasons that a lot of the spirit stuff intrigues me, is because we get to subdue it. Yes. So it's like we actually get to interact with it. Mm-hmm. To put it in its place. Absolutely. Or to make it dissolve. Absolutely. Or to make it, like... Mm-hmm. Like it's a flipping war. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, dude.
It's in the DNA, of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like it. That's why I like even the stuff about Bigfoot. And it's like, oh, dude, they come around because there is spiritual energy. Yeah. That means...
It's like the sickness and disease. There's a spiritual core to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
And a lot of the time, if they're showing up, it's because they're squatting on the land, and that land has something so incredibly valuable that needs to be released. Yeah. It's like Legion, who is sitting He like blocked a way
Right.
into the Decapolis, into this 10 cities.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Lord set him free and sent those suckers into the pig,
Unchained the 10 cities, all of it.
He unchained the 10 cities.
Yeah.
And that's what.
And then the promised land.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah.
That's
These
what
squatters,
stirs me up, man. Yeah. Let's kick them off our land.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
We don't have to have the.
What is the arrow by day in Psalms?
Are you talking about Psalm 91?
Yeah, I think so.
You know those are actually demons?
Yeah, that's what I was asking you.
Yeah.
Jake had something for me and it involved that.
Interesting.
And I was like, that's actually a thing. It's a being.
Yep.
And I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, so in Psalm 91, where he talks about his truth shall be your shield and your buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night.
Mm-hmm.
It's a demon.
Which is a thing as well.
It's a demon called Lelu. It's the demon's name.
Okay.
Nor the arrow that flies by day. It's called a midday demon.
Okay. What is it?
Nor the pestilence that walks in the darkness.
Yeah.
Those are chained demons. The pestilence that walk in the
darkness.
darkness.
Yeah. What's the middle one? The arrow.
What
was its name again?
It's a midday demon. So I believe something along the lines of like high noon. Michael Heiser goes deep into that.
It inclines its victims to restlessness, excitability, and inattention to one's duties. Interesting. Wow.
Did you just Google that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you say the arrow or the midday demon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the noonday demon.
Noonday demon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because Jake had a word for me, but I was in a cabin. And I was like, this is going to be an example for, I guess, interpreting something. I was in this cabin and I was just kind of holding off and there were arrows hitting the cabin. Like all over the place. And I was like, just waiting off. I knew they would go away. And Jake said, he told me, he's like, you weren't scared. You were just waiting. And then he heard a voice or something told me, he said, just go outside. Like go outside and face it. And I walked outside and the arrows like dissipated, gone. Just by almost like confronting it, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that. But when he said arrow, I was like, oh, that's actually, the arrow by day is a thing. Mm-hmm. And he said they were arrows. So interesting.
Last night I had a dream about, I was like positioned in this, it was a restaurant, but also like a house. And I was in the 3rd story. But I got positioned right outside a window.
Yeah.
And it was next to this massive church. It was like a Methodist church of all places. And there were people that were shooting stuff at me from the Methodist church.
Oh, wow.
Some of it was bullets. Some of it was arrows.
Well, that's what Jake was saying. He felt like it was with the religious stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but catch this, dude. So as this stuff was happening, I was almost going to retaliate with it. But then I like repositioned myself to look out the window because I was like looking at the window, not out the window.
Oh, okay.
So I went and looked out the window and to the left, and this building was massive.
Yeah.
It exploded from the inside and it began to crumble.
Wow.
So, mind you, I didn't know this scripture in the Bible, but I felt like the Lord said when I woke up this morning, I was just going to sit and kind of do my thing. And I heard the Lord say, Proverbs 15. And I was like, okay. And it says, the Lord will destroy the house of the proud.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It says the way of life winds upward for the wise, that he may turn away from hell below. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud.
Wow. Yeah.
And it got me. I was like, man, how much we don't even have to retaliate or to fight back or
the thing is, like, you can just walk out and look at it. It's like you don't have to even be afraid of it.
No.
You can go stand right in front of it or something. It's just like.
But to me, it was like the place, like I was positioned in the third floor.
Yeah.
So it was like, no, I actually was positioned in the third heaven into a heavenly perspective.
Yeah.
That it's not by effort or by forcing a thing.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Well, it wasn't interesting because then literally this morning, I ended up, somebody kind of came at me with some stuff that I was like, whoa, like,
yeah,
that actually felt a little prideful.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Because it was very condescending to me.
Okay.
And I was just like, and it wasn't my husband. It was somebody had texted me.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so, but then like I started putting the pieces together and I was like, oh, I don't even have to worry about that thing.
Yeah.
Because anything that is of pride or even if they're in the wrong, the Lord's going to,
yeah.
But the Lord will bring it down.
Right.
Like the Lord will expose it for what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even have to worry about that. And I think that happens in relationships with people.
Yeah.
Like there is always a need sometimes for me, like I need to be right.
Yeah.
And I need people to know that I'm right. That way I don't feel like I'm a victim to their control.
Right.
But it was like the Lord was like, don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
It's okay.
That's cool.
It's okay. But anyways, your arrow thing made me think of that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What happened
and it was
last
specifically religious stuff too. Oh.
But I feel like that's what religion really does. Religion puffs up.
Yeah.
It just makes people proud. And not carry the humility of the Lord.
Right. And that's it's cool. It was encouraging when you told me that. I've been dealing with there've been a bunch of religious stuff going on.
I know.
Like weird. But that's the history of it is remaining in the humility of the Lord and trusting Him. And then it always falls apart. You know, whatever it is.
Yeah. You stay in your lane.
Yeah. And then you watch it crumble, really, because He handles it.
And even if it doesn't, here's the deal. Even if it doesn't crumble in the timeline that you think it should crumble.
Yeah.
You will come to a place where it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's there or not.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter.
Because then it's not affecting you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even a factor if it crumbles or not.
Yeah.
You usually do see it happen though.
Oh, no doubt. I'm just saying
it's not a factor.
Outside of the timeline.
Yeah. The part of the humility is like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's profound, man.
Yeah, it is. All right.
That felt good.
Yep.
All right, y'all have a good day.